goes, man. Yeah, talk shit. So it is.
CBE.
That's an excellent way to start the show, because a lot of fans of the man that we're about to talk about at some length.
They call him Mellow, yeah.
You know they're gonna be upset at what we have to say, because I can start with a little quick story. You know, I know
they'll be alright.
All y'all sports fiends have a guy in your life. You know, if they love basketball, especially here in New York.
Wait, who's your guy?
In sports, in basketball, or
who's your guy?
Like ever?
Yes.
I don't understand that. Like all sports, because I don't.
Well, we're talking ball right now. So.
My guy was Reggie, because of, and not so much because of Reggie, though I do like his game, and I like the 8 and 8 seconds and all that stuff that happened. But
has he been replaced? Actually, no one knew. Yes, he has. He's been replaced by Paul George.
Yeah, I mean, Paul George is the main. So.
All right.
But
all right.
Yeah, I would say it's probably P. George.
P. Jizzle.
Very likable.
PG-13.
His game is great. He just gotten better every year.
Yes, he has. No thanks to Westbrook.
Even though he left the Pacers, I wasn't sad, because I knew that he was shining no matter where he went.
Shining and blinding.
But this is about Paul George. And as for dudes, I mean, I don't know. As we were talking about earlier, like Joe Montana was like a big deal for me because of how amazing his performances were, and I wasn't even like a big football fan like that. And so for me to like get invested in this team, in the 49ers team, of him and Jerry Rice and them, like that's magical to me. Like it's like how people talk about Dan Marino, it's how people talk about guys like that. And I have a lot in the UFC because I feel like in fighting, you know, and in wrestling to a deeper extent, but like in that those physical combat sports, you know, / sports entertainment, you know.
I mean, those are supposed to be strong stories.
You're invested in those stories, and you're invested in the fight because, you know, it's real. Definitely in the UFC's case / you know, Bellator and all the rest. Like, so like, you know, even though like that's why people get so mad about John Jones pulling all the stuff he has, because they had so much faith in him. He's the best, and you want the best to be like a good person, but he's not.
It won't be any John Jones shoutouts.
You know, so you know, whereas a guy like Daniel Cormier, who I feel has solidified his case for the best heavyweight ever, potentially in the sport, definitely in the UFC for sure, with what he's accomplished.
But we're not here to talk about DC.
Yeah, he gets props, so shouts to him. So, but
we'll see what's happening.
The reason why I bring up, like, you know, man, is like, so this guy at work that I used to work with, his name was Chuck.
Chuck.
And,
shout out Chuck.
You know, and he loved Melo, man. Like, he loved
That's a lot of niggas
so much.
That's a lot.
So much, and you know, I believe
a lot of niggas and a lot of ladies love Melo.
I want to establish that I don't hate Carmelo Anthony. I'm probably gonna say this a lot during this. I already blew the lead by not saying that this is who we're talking about. You know, I like everyone else. I feel wants him to do well. You know, in basketball, like he's done well in life. He got the money, got the women, the drama, the intrigue.
Got the women.
You know. The soccer teams, if he still owned that soccer team.
Got the women.
You know, he's chilling. But, you know, you want to see a guy who is that good at basketball win a championship. It doesn't make sense that he's not, other than severe injury, which he doesn't seem to have anymore.
An elite talent. Man.
You know, like, it's a shame. You know, just like it was with Allen Iverson, as we always talk about.
Well,
or
again,
guys like that.
With brother AI, that was just a clear-cut case of niggerdom.
But I feel like some of that is involved here.
Look, hearing what he said about it was, you know, I get it, especially in regards to Detroit. They fed him false facts, and you know, they kind of swindled him, and then they was giving him grief about getting his number and you know all types of other shit. But yeah, and plus he was going through some marital issues and
tough times, you know.
Yeah, shit was going on for the man. You know, after what was already kind of a rough fucking life, anyways.
I get it. You know, I don't want to harp on a dude. Like, I feel like some dudes are just kind of down his throat. And I have been heavily critical, you know, of him. But
well deserved though. Well deserved.
Yeah, it's not like I've heard dudes be happy that he's going through that marrow shit. Be happy that he would get injured. Be happy that I never wanted misfortune on him.
Those are just the ass clowns.
Nah, man. Like you want to see him do good. So it's very disappointing when you don't, and it's very disappointing when you hear stories like with Chauncey Billups recently saying that all he cared about was getting 30 because I figured you would have especially being friends with guys like LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, guys who were like playmakers, the team players, like whatever you can say about, even though people doubt Chris Paul right now, like they are, all three of those guys are phenomenal teammates, at least on the court. I don't know what they're like personally. A lot of dudes don't fuck with Bron, it seems like, but the point is they made it happen.
That they do multiple things, man.
And they back each other, support each other. Like I feel like on Carmelo Anthony teams, like he's out there. I'm getting my 30. That's great. We won, hopefully. But other than JR and dudes who are like close to him, you didn't really see a team form around him. It seems like every team he wanted to be at, he's like, yeah, I'm the leader, and coaches really wanted him to be the leader. But then when it came down to it, he wasn't. Or when he was starting to be, then injury. So you can't. I'm not going to fault the man for getting hurt.
No.
Because. Getting hurt was the part hindered him a lot. He lost a lot of time, a lot of games. That's a lot of games that he could have spent really working on his playmaking game and different things like that, and which he has, as you've seen him in Team USA. Excuse me. It's not that he doesn't know how to do it. It's not that he isn't capable. So, if people are saying you're a superstar, then why can't I hold you to a superstar standard?
Because you're supposed to transcend.
People never went easy on Bron, even though he was transcendent. People never went easy on Kobe. People never went easy on all these like top tier players because they expect you to always have another gear to go to. And
some say they go easy on Steph, but whatever, man. That's a different light-skin conversation.
Also, he's a lot more likable. I think if he looked like a dude and not like a little kid.
And that's the thing. He's not.
And he's not. That's what I'm saying. But just the look. That's what it is. It's so fooling. Like that's why he's one of the faces of the league. If he was like a goon,
Draymond could not be the face.
Exactly. He would be popular, but he wouldn't be as popular as he is now. ABC is not going to give Draymond Green a TV show. Okay.
So listen. Basketball is a pretty game.
It really is, though.
So. Not to say that Melo at his core was always about having his headband looking smooth and dropping 30, but that was a real strong portion of what he wanted to do. And again, like I'm not saying, I'm not about that, throwing up like 30 shots a night, only getting like 22.
Yeah, that means the rest of my team is standing around watching you play.
And again, bro, just going through his numbers. Just going through Melo's numbers, bro, he could have averaged an easy double-double if he really wanted to.
Or the ever-precious, 15 and 5s and all the other stats, which is like that holy grail of player. That's why I think it loves Draymond so much, because he gets those type of numbers, which are more efficient and better for the team.
Yeah, but again, does he get those numbers on a different team?
Maybe.
Depending on the team.
There's a lot of speculation we can do here.
If he's on the Spurs, he probably gets that.
It's really about coaching. It's really about that coach because, as you said, I feel like he hasn't had that coach who can really tame him, really. Because, again, your dick sucked your whole life in all the ways you can get your dick sucked.
Are you talking about Draymond right now?
Melo.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure.
Melo.
Just making sure.
To answer your question, does he get numbers on the other team? Again, it's about coaching. I
was talking about Draymond. Melo
that's what I'm saying. To go back to him,
Melo gets numbers on any team.
It makes sense that he gets numbers because Kerr is from the school of Pop. So, of course, he's going to get
Pop Hustle, by the way.
Shout out to Pop Hustle. But Melo, gets numbers everywhere, but he has never really been on a team that really utilizes that, I feel. And then when he starts to get that, either they trade him, he gets hurt, or the other guy or guys gets hurt, so the equilibrium is thrown off. And that's what I will concede to him. But also...
Yeah, you're talking about the Knicks right now.
And even from the Nuggets, like, where he was balling, and they got to the Western Conference chip, almost beat Kobe at the height of the Kobeism, which is incredible. They didn't even play efficient basketball. They were just kind of gunning and beating the Lakers up, mostly. And it was working until, until they smeared them in the press about it, calling them the Denver Nuggets and all that. And getting at Kenyon Martin, for being Kenyon Martin, basically.
Shout out to Kmart.
Sorry, shout out to Kmart.
Shout out to Birdman.
So, yeah, he was a part of that, and I never downplay that because he was a part of that.
He was the perfect part for them.
Like they had whatever chemistry they finally found with those players, they found it.
No, he was like, for that team. And again, son, you're supposed to build around your superstar. So the only time the only time he had a team that was truly built around him was that 2012-2013 Knicks squad.
Yeah.
And again, you see what he dug. What he dug. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but it's not. And again, we talk about this again off. We talk a lot clearly off air. I guess that's why we're recording it now. This sophisticated ignorance bullshit. Thanks for listening, by the way, guys. I really appreciate your viewership.
This podcast is brought to you by Stoli Vodka.
Yes, if you want to sponsor us, Stoli, I'm with it. Well, I'll let you have your ads on my video. That's cool. Please, thank you.
Live that Stoli life.
That was a nice commercial there. So at any rate, like, I don't know, it just clearly became a mental thing with him because when he's relaxed, as in the Team USA version or Hoodie Mellow version, he's balling because there's no pressure, there's no drama, he's just balling. And
but again,
he needs to get in an environment where he's doing that. But
that's when he's on a team with which he can suspend his disbelief and truly be that.
But here's the issue: I feel like he's blackballed now. I feel like he's tarnished, and like Kaepernick, who was blackballed for a different reason, but still blackballed nonetheless. Even if a team picked either of them up, it was gonna look at them sideways, and that affects fans, that affects money, that affects all that stuff. So I get owners not wanting to take a chance on him, even though he's not expensive. He
has all the money he's going to get.
Exactly. He will definitely be a very good 6 or 7 man on your team.
Mellow,
who's hungry, man. Hopefully, and you don't have much to lose, unless he gets hurt. But
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Hopefully not.
Come out with the free Mellow shirt, son.
With a sad Mellow behind some bars.
Saying free Mellow.
Free Mellow. But yeah, he can help your team, and if he's on a contender again, I feel like he needs a strong coach to kind of just not break him, but so much be like, listen, like, you're gonna play within my system. This is how I'm gonna help you get that 25, because I can if you're on fire, but I'm not gonna have you shooting, 17 to 20 shots and only hitting 5 of them shits. Fuck that.
I ain't gonna lie, son. He should consider going back to the Nuggets if they'll have him.
Maybe. He's kind of the scorer they need, because then the pressure will be less on Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic to put up numbers.
I mean, again, if he's really saying what he's saying is true, and he wants to.
And that team, that's what I'm saying. That team doesn't really have starters per se. Like, that's what they showed in the playoffs. They just kind of rotated and just kept being like, all right, this combination works right now.
And then he doesn't have to drop 30 a night.
No, you just take them jumper, because again, he's in love with the gun. This is besides being a ball stopper, like everyone always says, or whatever. Say what you want about him personally. I don't really care about that. Like,
he's not a ball stopper. He just doesn't have people fall past the rock too, bro. And
that hasn't always been true.
But on the teams where he did, once again, son, KP's first season, bro, the man averaged damn near 6 assists.
He did.
And only 18 points? No, 20 still. He was still dropping damn near 20s.
Yeah.
So it's like he can, if he feels like he has somebody legitimate, and that was the biggest thing with the Knicks, the Mari injuries, because it pissed me off when he finally got the 2-man game together. I'm like, wait, now y'all doing this shit? Now y'all looking like y'all unstoppable, son? Like when the shit don't matter?
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. Like and so I think it's mental. Like, and again, I will say for the millionth time, as I've said on this little project here, I am in no way a professional athlete. I never will be at this point. 34. It's not gonna happen.
Snake disclaimer.
Yeah, the classic snake. I of course I can't do better than Carmelo Anthony. As we were saying earlier, like people shit on like say JaVale McGee, but he'll wash all of us. He'll wash all of us on the court right now, listening. Most of us, like.
I mean, I'll hit at least 2 shots on him, but
yeah,
I might hit a lot of his block.
You know what I mean? People make fun of Lonzo, but he'll cook most of us out here, so like.
Alright, but would you since we've opened that fucking Hell's Gate, son.
Now we talking about Melo, son.
I know that, but nah, fuck Melo right now, bro. Would you want to take on LeVar Ball, son?
Yeah. Just to say I did it. Just to say I did it, even if he watches me.
Just to say I hit a J or yammed on this whole.
Yeah, or just muff some shit, like put some whack shot up, just kill it.
Yeah, just destroy it. The back of Melo.
That would be hilarious. Be out there with like 10 sweatbands on, like John Cena.
Nah.
So back to Melo, I don't know, man. I still think he's a ball stopper for a guy who is very adept at putting the ball on the floor. Is one of the best all-around players to ever be on a basketball court. The fact that he doesn't move as much as he should shocks me. And again, he's older now. I get that. Like, this is a different type of Melo player. But like, when the Rockets,
honestly, bro, you don't know what he's trying to do or what he can do because. Who has he been playing for and who has he been coached by?
Exactly, but I don't want this whole thing to come down to just the system because then we could be here all day. Well, if he was in this system, he might be working.
No, it won't come down to that.
Because remember, they were like, yo, he should be great in the Rockets system, which on paper he should have been, but he wasn't.
No! Like,
it didn't work out. They didn't use him right.
In 2014, 2015, yes. D'Antoni, no, because we've seen that project before, and that project got a fucking F.
And even if it somehow succeeded, you're not going to tell me that the coach you basically got forced out of New York.
Yeah, how do you think that's going to really work?
You think he's not going to remember that? At least remember that, even if he's not resentful anymore.
Again, bro.
He's going to look at you with the side eye, son. Like, I don't know about you.
Come on. That's like going back into a relationship with somebody cheated, bro. Like, this is going to be something there.
And he got less playing time, even though he should have got a fair amount of minutes.
No, They told him specifically, as you remember from the interview with Stephen A. They told him, or they made him, or they led him to believe that he was the missing piece to a championship team.
And that's how they were selling it in the media and all that.
Alright, so that's false advertisement thing, man.
Well, there's 2 ways you can look at that.
Alright.
A guy, and we've talked about this, who has had his dick sucked again his whole life. So when and you know how recruiting is, they will sell you the world. Man. Look at how they did Blake Griffin when they showed him all that shit, when they extended him or whatever, when they were building this new arena, and then they traded him.
I mean that's
that's an isolated example. I'm just saying
it was a swindle.
I'm just saying that, like, you know, or Kyrie being in Boston being like, I'm coming back next year when the whole stadium knows you ain't coming back.
Not even that, just making commercials about
like,
it.
It's crazy. Like,
making commercials with your pops. Being like, I want number 11 to last in Boston. You know,
oh my God.
The Nike symbol pop up.
And you made money on that.
Yeah, some real sentimental shit. Son.
Hilarious. So no, like, they figured they had to pitch that to him so that he would come to the team. You know, even though realistically they had all the leverage because. You know, I
don't believe that because
he's on the quote unquote downside.
They got him for the low, bro. You remember, son? The Hawks traded for him, paid him $25 million fucking dollars to stay home.
Yeah, because they just like, we'll just eat that. The Rockets can eat that.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's like, you paying somebody $25 million. They don't even come to the stadium, bro. Don't dress up. Don't get in the shower.
We ain't even made your jersey, bro.
Bro, don't even leave your crib. We'll just give you this bread and. We don't want to see you.
We're going to PayPal you these millions.
$25 million.
and that's it. And
like,
so,
yeah, come on. Come
so
on,
that's why I
so.
talk about the stain, man. So again, Houston felt like they had to butter him up, even though Chris Paul, his man, is on the team. You know what I mean? Like, they don't need to do that. And then on the other side of that, they were disingenuous, like you said. Like, they were desperate, and so they just went with him because they didn't get anyone else who could make a splash in free agency. And so they know his name has value and will sell more tickets, so they signed him.
You know what? Look, I feel
Fucked
like
up because that's a waste of his talent. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't even contribute to a team that really kind of needs it.
Had the Rockets put more investment in him, they might have been able to beat the Warriors, man. With no KD,
maybe, but you know,
it's a maybe, but it's not that big.
It's not gonna be like the backdoor plays that they made for him were great.
He wouldn't have needed to, bro. If he would have understood the game that.
So why is he still doing 86 jab steps and then putting up contested jumpers? Even though he knows it's not the right thing to do. Even though he knows that's the stuff that's kept him from getting signed. And you're not a dumb basketball player. It'd be different if you were an idiot. But he's not. So I think it's mental. There's got to be something mental with him. Like,
he played 12. Was it 10 or 12 games with Houston? Officially.
Yeah, something like that.
It was like 10 games.
And again, as I said earlier, they didn't give him like real minutes for him to get adjusted.
Nor did they ever really approach him. Again, son, he was a superstar at one point. Offensively,
yeah.
A perennial all-star.
And just, you know, having that fear that you could put into people, you know. But,
he at least deserves a sit-down convo with the coach and CP and shit, and even the beard, being like, yo, we need you to come off the bench, bro. We need you to be the sixth man of the year. If you do that, then we're a much more dangerous team. And if they would have did that, bro, I guarantee you, just based upon the talent that they had and where he was or is in his career, he would have been like, you know what? All right, fuck it. Now, him coming off the bench, you don't know what he would have did to him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that would have made him expand his game a little bit more because he has less minutes. Because the touches and the possessions are, you know, less and less. Again, speculation, cool, so be it. But
yeah, I'm
kind of he never got that opportunity.
I'm just thinking about the limited, you know, sample set we have.
10 games?
That's all we got. And I'm not gonna judge him on it. I point more the finger at
10 games in the D'Antoni system.
That's what I'm saying. I point more the finger at the system than him. Because again, when they ran some of those backdoor plays I referenced, where he would just cut along the baseline and, you know, on the weak side of the defense and just catch these free open layups, which he's agile enough and great enough with the ball to catch and finish with. It was good. I was like, they should just run this play more. Clearly it's working because they're worried about the shooters that are stretching the defense. And he's just snaking in for these easy Carmelo buckets, man, that he can make consistently.
Son, him and Capella would have been dangerous.
But they didn't try.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Not his, really. And again, let's go to his tenure on the Thunder. Yes, it wasn't a pretty Melo, but he still averaged 16 for the season. Played most of the season, which is decent for him.
And that's because he played with a very selfish, aggressive, and while being incredibly athletic, not a very technically sound point guard.
Well, it also made him into this like catch and shoot player, which he's not. He's not that. So.
And look again, you don't even know if he can be that.
No, he should be more. You know, he's big enough to just set the screens and just be a screener.
Yeah, he can be a catch and shoot player. Just
he just be that deadly mid range killer, son, like he always was. Just not doing 800,000 jab steps to create it, and just letting it come in the offense. Because once you're shooting it, it's over.
But again, that's why the best version of Melo probably was Fat Melo.
Probably
fat, braided up Melo.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. The hurling threes Melo from the Knicks had his moments, man.
But he wasn't even hurling threes, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but when he was feeling it, he was just killing you.
2013 is when he had probably the closest thing to what he would call his Bernard King game. Again, he still doesn't do this now. I don't know if it's because of like the little calf knee and shit he been having, but he always had that weird wide, like power drop step from like the fucking free throw line. And like by the time he's there, like niggas don't know what to do, so he just ends up he just gets fouled.
Yeah, which is another thing, you know. I feel like that's a part of his game that he just never really exploited. And I get it, you're injured, you don't want to get hit a lot, especially now. But man, you'd be deadly at the line because then you get your chance to clear your mind and just hit the easy buckets, man, which will devastate any team, especially coming from the second unit. It would be pretty damn good. But you know, again, it's about systems. I guess that's the next thing we can move to. Let me move to my little producer sheet right here. You know, real
producer.
You know, real professional.
You can spiral notebook.
Exactly. That's where the best ideas are kept.
Swag.
Spiral notebooks. Hit me up, Spiral notebooks. Oh no, there's no like someone who makes that. There's
yo, Staples. You know
Staples, hit me up, or Moleskin, hit me up.
We need them copies.
Hit me up with them books, Moleskin. Let's see. I have a couple things that we didn't talk about yet. For some reason, I wrote Braun pre and post headband. Who knows what I was on when I wrote that?
Yeah, these production meetings go on for a real long time.
So we already touched on this Rockets thing because you mentioned that, you know, had he gone to the Rockets in 2014, things would have been wild different. Which they would have.
The Warriors probably don't win their first
despite
ship.
the injury, though, because he was hurt.
No. The Warriors do not win that first ship.
So
you're talking the beard, still like late in his prime, but prime Melo and Dwight, coached by K. McHale.
P. Beverly.
You had P. Beverly. That was the I believe that was the Josh Smith vehicle.
Oh man.
Corey Brewer vehicle. So you had
when he was balling.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Corey Brewer was getting big.
Yes, sir. So I mean that team with Melo. No. The Warriors can't beat those. The Warriors couldn't beat the Clippers back then.
So I guess there's your answer to that. The other thing I have here is should he have gone to the Bulls when he was basically all but out the door in New York?
No.
To go to the Bulls?
No.
No. I say yes, but you said no first, so you go ahead.
No. Him and Thibodeau, they wouldn't have gotten along. The team was in disarray, and you really didn't know what the fuck was going on with D Rose.
Yeah, in the past, you know, because I wanted to see Melo on a team, because from the outside, the Bulls looked like this amazing, hard-nosed, you know, gritty dog team that, you know, just grinded out these wins with his defense.
Yeah, that's Bulls team shit.
So it's like, all right, you know, if he gets with a coach like that, he could shore up his game in those places that he's weakest.
See, look,
really
Melo, if he would have chosen or said like he wanted to be traded to the Bulls around time, what was that, 2011? Oh yeah, no. Bulls, they wrecked the Heat. They wreck a lot of fucking. They wrecked the league then. You're talking about like a fresh Joakim, a fresh Taj, and then you got a full defensive squad behind Melo. No matter what he drops that night, it probably would be just enough behind the team that's going to just stifle the fuck out of whoever they're playing.
Yeah, well, that's what I envisioned for them, but
it was too late.
It was also not what it cracked up to be. You know, there's the contentious Bulls ownership who hated Thibodeau. So even if Melo and Thibodeau got along, the ownership wanted him out. You know, and there was that feud that they were having.
Shout out to C.J. Watson.
Word C.J.
Shout out to Luau.
Well, dang, my man, you should have had. I mean, yo, you made that chicken, so good for you. But
yeah, you wasted your good years.
You should have been a Hall of Famer, bro.
Shout out to Taj, even though you're on the Knicks.
I guess welcome.
Yeah, welcome back, bro.
You know,
welcome back.
We could use some quality minutes from you, bro.
No, you get quality minutes. I just don't know what those
you and I think you and Mitchell Robinson make a nice little 2-man duo.
At this point, you know what? I'm fine with that, and you know I'm kind of tight. DeAndre dipped. I was hoping he would stick around for the Garden Magic, but
me too. But KD stole him, so they swindled. They swindled. So.
He chose to come out to BK, home of Biggie and Jay.
Well, it didn't hurt that they saved $40 million.
Well, listen, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you try to make major moves, you gotta leave yourself some wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the hell is gonna happen. But listen, Taj will be a nice influence on both Brother Julius and Brother Mitchell. Once again, Mitchell Robinson
Do we still have Super Mario or
No. He's
we don't have Luke Cornett anymore.
Yeah, that is, but whatever, we'll be alright.
I hope that European dude though got busy in the summer league, man.
My guy.
Sign that man if you haven't already. Knicks. Sign that guy. Anyway, so yeah, I'm with you. Also, Melo, as much as it would have been, I guess, more suited to his play style to play 40 minutes a night, because he'd get all the shots he ever want.
That's the shit. He's stupid, bro. If he plays 22 minutes a night, he's a much more effective player.
That's true, but I'm just going to what again people have said about him, which is I just want to get my points, and I don't think he's only about that, but I think that is a very important thing too.
Again, he was about that. Now it's like, bro, again, son, he needs that real sentimental ending to the 30 for 30 episode.
Very much, because even if he could get 20 a game, it wouldn't behoove him to do that right now.
Unless he's just cooking and like the team is winning. Yeah. Once again, 6th man of the year, bro. You can do things like drop 30 and not have it be a fucking hindrance.
Lou Williams could do it, especially again, like I said, if you get into the line, because that's less shots that you're taking, you're more efficient, and you're putting fouls on these guys. But again, it's always about systems, right? So, it would have been nice to see him on that team though, and I think that Luau would felt the need to score less. And it would have made him more effective as a result.
And it would have made him he would have been a much more effective player because he could just
he didn't have to worry about
he could have like played
points.
D and gotten like a lot of his points off of like
turnovers,
fast break,
fast breaks,
going to the foul line,
occasional threes, all that.
He could have been the big African version of fucking Bruce Bowen, son.
Yep.
Actually, he'd been a way better version.
He'd been better because when he was cooking, he could cook.
Oh no. Believe me, first of all, listen, I spent too many young high school days watching Agent Zero, a.k.a. Gilbert Arenas, cook the Bulls, but that three-way that the Bulls had with fucking Captain Kirk, Ben Gordon, who you hate.
I don't hate him.
Yes, you do.
They just overpaid that man.
You hate Ben Gordon, son.
I don't, because look what happened to him. That's terrible. I don't wish that Orlando Magic Oblivion that he ended up in or whatever, like, on him. Like,
he was supposed to be the missing piece for that.
Well, he was another one. Like, I saw this in some video recently. Like, he came up in the wrong era. Right now, he would be priceless today.
Nah, because he's a volume shooter, bro.
That's what I'm saying, but like a crispy,
I mean, look, he was fourth quarter Benny, but
like,
first
he would
3
be getting
quarters,
jobs like crazy right now.
But see, look, that's why that dynamic worked, and that's why I like that fucking young Bulls team where you had the captain, the young Fizz, Captain Kirk, son.
Yeah, they just didn't believe in the captain. That was the problem. Like, it wasn't Ben Gordon so much because he kept them under control, man. Like when he was out there, but when it was just Ben Gordon, when they put it on his shoulders to win, he couldn't do it. He's another one, man. He can't be the leader. So.
Shout out to that 09 series with the Bulls and the Celtics, one where 3 of them fucking games went to overtime. And you had
wasn't that the one with the triple overtime one as well?
One of those, yeah. Basically, you had the UConn guard rivalry going on with Ben Gordon and Ray Allen.
And Rondo punched Brad Miller in the face, I believe, on that one, right?
I believe that was a young D Rose too.
Yeah.
They should have kept that team together. D Rose and the captains. Fuck that.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, I fucked that up.
And instead, they paid Ben Gordon this. Bullshit.
Moving on.
Anyway, so I guess we agree, like, that he shouldn't have gone there. It just would have been nice to see him learn some D. Can Melo still play? Which we've covered extensively. Of course he can.
All right, so at this point, and we've kind of transitioned towards that, like, where do you want to see him?
If I could pick?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of contenders because I don't want him on no bum team, putting up points on no bum team. Because that would be depressing. That'd be like Grant Hill on the Phoenix Suns. Like, as cool as that was, to see him come back from catastrophic injury, it was so lame not to see him get a ring, and not to be on the Spurs or some team like that.
I mean, he's still a Hall of Famer, so.
Shout out to Grant Hill, but he should have been a champion. That man is a once in a generation player, so like struck by like horrible injury. Like if he had come up, he's another one. If he came up now, that wouldn't have been a career ender. That injury.
He came back better.
And he would have been fine. He came back. That shows you how good he was. He came back.
Had a second career.
Had a second career, even though he had an injury that ends you. Like, forget as a player. I remember my mom, rest in peace to her, saw Grant Hill in a parking lot in Orlando when he was on Orlando, but like never played really. She said she saw him at like Books A Million or whatever, and he had a cane. So he needed a cane to walk.
Damn, what year was this?
Is that 02, 03? I think that might have been. It would have to be because
Yeah, right when he signed with Orlando.
Yeah, it was like 02, 03 or some shit like that. I was like, wild. She's like, I seen Grant Hill. I was like, first of all, you know who Grant Hill is? It's like, second of all, where did you see Grant Hill at? Like, yes, Grant Hill walked with a cane. At least at that horrible time in his career where he could probably barely walk because his leg was like in pieces probably. Anyway, yes, he can still play. Carmelo can still play. That is not in doubt. Where would I want to see him? I would normally say the Spurs because that's the old man rehabilitation clinic. Always. He's never played, like you said so many times throughout this cast, never played with a coach who has been able to take advantage of what he can do. Besides, I guess, Coach K on Team USA, I guess. But I'm going to run that into the ground. Yeah, he has gold medals, but, what do you expect? Of course Carmelo's going to play well on the Dream Team. If it was him and, like, the second string dudes, it would be a different story. It wouldn't be the same. Then he would feel the pressure to jack up all the shots to try to beat fucking Croatia or some shit, or Turkey, who's trying to style on the U.S. And you're gonna be in the same situation all over again with this guy. That's what I'm talking about. That criticism, man. Like, you have he's like JR. Like, you have the good Melo who's just elite, and then you have the bad Melo who just, despite his amazingness, looks so bad out there. It looks like he is not with it, and he's not. When he's motivated, man. He's motivated. He's a hard player to stop. And I guess that's what it really comes down to. It's not about physical talent. He's clearly still good. Clearly, like Stephen A. said, clearly, he's okay. Like, he's over here chilling on yachts with fine-ass black women. He's good money. The next thing I have is Ismail blackballed, which we also kind of went through. I would say definitely so, because there is no way that a guy that good, despite age and whatever surrounds him, does not have a job, especially in this era of gunners, which he most certainly is now. He could shoot somewhere. There's just no way. I guess I keep dodging the question of where I would like to see him. The Clippers, man. Why not? He's actually kind of perfect for that team. Because he will not start. If they get injured, he can start. He's like the Nuggets, like we talked. That team is like the Nuggets, where they have this kind of puzzle piece thing. He has two of the best basketball players in the world with him, so he doesn't need to score. He won't have that pressure. Like, it won't even matter.
According to Brother Scrams, Melo would contaminate squads like that.
Not with Doc, because Doc will sit him. They'll front on him. Because Melo no longer commands that, I'm going to stay on the floor and you can't pull.
He has to sit regardless. There's no, like that.
That's what I'm saying. As I began with, like, Melo's not going to start. But he will be lethal with that second unit. Especially since they lost Shai Gilgeous, so they need someone to fill those points in. And their forward situation is kind of nice. Like, him and Gallo and all these other forwards, they could just keep rotating through. Paul George, Kawhi, like,
a weird alien team.
It would be such a weird combo team that I think, and a lot of people say that combo teams don't do it, but the Warriors are a combo team, and they did it. The Cavaliers, like, revolving around Brown, are basically a combo team. Like, as long as he's clicking, y'all are probably gonna win. Unless you force him to take over and then he shoots you out of it, but that's rare. So that's the team he needs to be on, like the Jazz even, or something like that. A contender that's hurting for scoring, the Bucks, teams like that. But like,
no. First team I'll put him on is the Heat, bro.
Yeah, that's a good one. They hurting for scoring too, man. They need more veteran presence. You know, but I wonder how him and Jimmy will get on. I guess
at this point that wouldn't matter. You know, especially if he comes off the bench.
Well, yeah, he still wouldn't start, so I guess it wouldn't matter, right?
No. Again, bro, we dealing with hoodie Melo, not headband Melo.
I hope so. I've been waiting for hoodie Melo in the league forever, personally.
So they should just let him wear the fucking hoodies.
That would be amazing. Like, just get some kind of niggas would be again. It was like when Amari, you remember when Amari had the orange fucking glasses or whatever? And that was when he was balling out, and they were like, it's an advantage because we can't see his eyes, so we can't see where he's gonna go. And it's bullshit. They totally fronted on Amari, so. And then he got him clear. He got them like clear so you can see his eyes.
It's no bullshit.
It's crazy.
Point is, Melo, you're back in front.
You know, we want you to succeed, man.
Listen, come back to the Knicks, man.
You know,
shit.
I know I said no to this the other day when you said it, but shit, I'll take it, man.
You ain't got no choice, man.
Just to see you, I just don't want to see him on and not that we're a bum team. I just want to see him.
He can be the catalyst for what was like the beginning of something great.
Sure, but that takes more time to do, and I don't think he has the time left. Personally.
Yeah, but again, there's no
especially with his injury proneness, and again, that's not on him. It's just on him getting older and him taking all that contact at the highest level. Like, that's what I'm worried about.
I personally don't see a contender picking him up. So.
You asked me where. I also kind of feel that because again, is he blackballed? I think so. Like,
no, I think he's gray-balled right now. So.
You know, yeah, they don't hate him out.
I don't think it's a full black ball. It's like
niggas are like,
it's getting to that point.
It's that iffiness, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Then if it becomes a bum team, it has to pick him up to like D Rose. You know, D Rose. Hold on. He's in the D Rose position right now, basically.
D Rose is on the team, so he's not.
I'm talking about in the sense of how they were looking at him. They're like, "Yo, you're finished. You're finished. You're finished." For 2 years, when he's going through those knee surgeries, all that shit, you're finished. You're finished. You're finished. Trying to come back, you're finished.
He was lucky enough to have a contract for that. You know what I'm saying? But
he made it worth it. Like, this is what we're pushing for, right? So it should be the same with this guy who's not injured, as far as we know. Wants to play. You know, feels bad about his actions, seemingly, you know, because of that Stephen A. interview and even things he said before that. So I don't get why no one's calling. Because it's not a money thing. He's got money. I don't think he's turning down jobs in the league.
No, nobody's calling.
No one's called. So there's got to be something to that. But again, if I had my druthers, he would be on a contender that would really kind of push them over the top. That needs scoring. Hopefully. The Clippers especially. Even though they got an embarrassment of riches right now. But like you said, even the Nuggets, you know, it'd be a good story. Cam comes back home, finally gets his mind right on the team that drafted him. Even if he took them to the Western Conference Finals, that would be a big deal. Behind a bunch of young boys, you know what I mean? Also, you have the best playmaker arguably in the league there to set him up. So it won't mostly be him with the ball in his hands, jab stepping like crazy, or forcing anything that he doesn't need to force.
No, that's a 3-man. Like, that's almost the perfect fucking triangle.
Because that's what happened with the Nuggets. Like, it seemed like at points in the postseason when they had the half court game going, you know, they were just kind of frozen, and then Jamal Murray was forced to create the shot. Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. But it's like you didn't fool the defense into, like, you know, they just kind of loaded up on you and you made it. So a guy like him changes stuff like that. And he's a good combo piece, man. And he's in the position that you need to be good at these days in this modern game to win the chip, which is have tough forwards who set up your guards to shoot threes or playmaker or get to the line. So he'd be a great screen and shoot guy. He'd just be so good in the paint, like right now. And I get it, you know, you don't want to again take the hits and deal with the contact, but if you want to play, you're gonna have to, because that chucking game is not gonna work.
That old Park game, man.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. They need to set.
They
need to set you up, or you catch the ball. You do your quick Melo move real quick, and you just shoot that. Like, but no more jab stepping and eating 11 shots, like seconds off the shot clock. Like, it's not gonna happen. You're not that guy anymore. You shouldn't be that guy anymore. You never should have been that guy.
Don't go over it.
But I get I get why you felt like you had to be that, because you were in situations where they were like, score 35 a night. They were like, bet that keys right into what I like to do anyway, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna shoot 30 or 35 shots or whatever to try to get that. But that's not how you win a ring. So the last thing, I guess this is a short one, unless you wanna extend this. I have one more thing in the melodrama going on, which is that thing we talked about with John Starks about how, despite going 2 for 18 in that pivotal game some years ago, many years ago, it's like yesterday in my mind.
You don't have to remind me.
You know, dudes love John Starks still. Like, he's fairly beloved by Knicks fans. You know, they remember him fondly, despite 2 for 18. They remember him very well.
But they remember 2 for 18.
But we remember that. I'm sure he remembers that very keenly. Shout out to John Starks if you're listening. Like, I don't want to throw 2 for 18 in your face. I'm sure a bunch of people have in the years since.
I'm not going to do that because the 2 for 18 is on his face every time I see that, man.
Yeah,
there's just like a cloak of depression.
It's not right. It's not,
but yo, bro, don't throw up 18 shots.
Or you should have trusted your mans better then. If it ain't going down, it ain't going down.
You got P. Ewing. Even if it's P. Ewing against the Dream, son.
It's still, P. Ewing was laying his soul on the line there.
Come on, son.
So, you know, the reason why I bring up John Starks is people love him, and so as a nice bookend to what we talked about, Charlie, my former colleague at the place I used to work at, loves Melo, still loves Melo. Like, all the iterations of Melo they would throw on the Knicks, all this stuff, and I would be mad, harsh, and critical, and be like, it's not going to work. Melo's a bum, this and that.
Niggas love Melo.
Like, right. But despite that, he's like, I don't care. They're going to win. He would be like, they're going to win the chip, this and that. I'm like, yo, you're crazy, bro. Like, I appreciate your fandom. I would always say at the same time, Melo's one of the best scorers of all time, this and that, you know, all the caveats, but I'm like, yo, he's not going to win a championship without being on a contender or being with a coach that could control that madness. Like, he's like, but he could drop all his points. I was like, yeah, but we know a lot of people could drop a lot of points that didn't win championships, man. So there's just, he, like you said, he hasn't been in the right situation. And despite that, you know, Charlie loves Melo. I'm sure right now Charlie loves Melo and is agonizing because he's out the league, basically.
Niggas love him some Melos.
So, yeah, I just wanted to finish off with that. Niggas love Melo despite how, you know, why would Stephen A. have an interview with the man if, you know, if he and other niggas didn't love Melo?
Honestly,
you know,
Stephen
like,
A. is becoming like, the sports version of Walter Cronkite.
Well, he has no choice, you know what I mean? He's in that he's in that high air of sports journalism.
He knows what fucking questions to get shit spicy, what questions to like tickle the assholes, and what questions just to, you know what I'm saying, really, what people want to hear. So he gives the people what they want. You know what I'm saying? And realistically, hearing that interview, it really solidified a lot of shit that I needed to hear, because I felt as if Melo was in that mindset, but hearing it and thinking it's two different things. So,
well, I feel a couple ways about that. One, they also interviewed Dwight Howard on Inside the NBA and other places, and I know it's a weird comparison, but I'm just talking about. Hold on, like, I'm just talking about dudes who are in weird positions right now in their stats in the league, guys who should have been elite players and were at various points in their careers, and are now in places where you're just kind of you're questioning. It's crazy to me. Like,
yeah, folks, I'm guessing this is going to lead to a Dwight episode, but stand by.
Possibly, you know that
it's
is
already happened. son.
That is my guy, man.
We've delved in those waters already.
Yeah, man.
We're here now.
I guess this is how we're gonna do it. The melodrama, as we were calling it.
We ended with Dwight.
Nah, the melodrama is gonna lead into other players that were just like, oh man, the shame, like Gilbert Arenas and guys like that. Like,
stand by for JR fiasco.
Oh my God. Well, he's a champion though. It's not even a fiasco with him.
And that's a real fucked up way to end the melodrama with talking about JR
has a championship.
JR fucking
Carmelo
swish.
Anthony.
And Carmelo can't get a fucking job.
He can't even get a roster spot right now, man.
This is life we live, folks.
So guys, like, you know, all you who love Melo, like, I'm sure you're already advocating hard for your boy. Please continue to do so.
We need Melo back.
You know, we need him somewhere. Like I said, if the Bucks, you know, y'all want to pick him up, it won't hurt. Y'all need the points. Shit, even Toronto, like, y'all need the points. And him and Siakam is not a bad two-man. And Marc Gasol. I mean, that doesn't hurt.
Toronto?
Yeah. They're going to be hurting. Kawhi leaves a void, man.
Look.
They're a little thin right now.
If Drake is a real nigga, so.
If he's not still on the championship hangover.
I'm saying, if Drake is a real nigga, Melo will be on the Raptors next year, or this season coming up.
Are you gonna add Drake about that?
No.
You gonna beseech the
No, because at the end of the day,
beseech the sixth god.
First of all, no, it knows. I don't have time for that. Nor it is what it is.
Nor any enthusiasm toward that.
For real.
But you're right. It would be some shit, wouldn't it, if he pulled his Drake strings?
But again, the real redemption story would be for Melo to come back to the Knicks and help them build this new fucking.
That would be nice if he got like
waves.
2 to 3 years left in him. That would be nice.
And if you put all the young goonies on, like like the big homies.
Well, I guess we could finish it off right here. Even since we started with John Starks, right? If he came back, what would they have to do to besides obviously develop the young talent, which we're doing already. But what would they have to do to bring that second and or third guy to the team that you would need to make that championship step? Because it's one thing to win the division and get into the playoffs or whatever.
No. We thinking long.
You got to think about the Bucks. You got to think about even teams like the Pacers. You got to think about.
I'm thinking 10 years ahead. So.
Exactly. So what can Melo give to that process? To borrow the Philly term, there.
For the Knicks?
Yeah, to really, and not do it exactly like they did it, but I mean, like, what do they have to do to, let's say they tomorrow, like, we called Melo and
first of all, they don't have to trust the process.
We have money and we signed for the mid-level. Right?
They don't have to trust the process because realistically, they're kind of in a better position that these niggas was in.
Right.
Really, all they have to do is just keep doing what they do. And if Melo falls in line to that, then he will be a real component and a cornerstone of it. But he has to really, like I said, fall in line with the plan that they already have going. So.
Is Fizdale a coach for that?
Yeah.
You think they would get along?
Listen. I'm saying I came across Coach Fizdale, and to me, he has a little bit too much swag for a coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't speak like a coach. He talks like he's a fucking rapper. He's just too cool for me, son. But I'm like, that works for somebody like Melo, son. Especially like an older player like Melo. Because Fizdale is not really an older coach, but
you're closer in age.
Not even at these, like, he still kind of has like an old school approach, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would argue that again, Melo's never been with a coach that he either A, respected or B, felt comfortable with enough to do him. So,
as you said, you know what I'm saying, this dude, George Karl was, you would say he was in Bison, but he was probably a guy.
Yeah, he's on the mountain, of fearsome coaches or whatever.
That cracked the whip.
He was out there, man. But a lot of players, not even just Melo, couldn't really bang with him. Like, it was a certain type of player that you had to really get along with him. Same thing with son Rudy Tomjanovich, guys like that, like they like beat their teams into like, yo, this is how we're gonna do it.
He did, but he had too many egos on his team too, so he didn't really beat them. He just was like, yo, Yeah, I ain't gonna just do that nigga shit y'all want to do.
Nah, we need to win this chip. And they was like, yo, we want to win this chip. That's really what it came down to.
That, you know, obviously the dream slapping your man Mad Max up. No, too.
That's what I'm talking about. Not that I condone teammate on teammate violence. That's the Gilbert Arenas. You know, you don't want to go there all the time. So.
Well, first of all, no. Like that, he bought guns to the locker room. That's not team on team violence. That's just.
Well, in defense of Hibachi, the Hibachi, his man basically dared him to bring a gun to the locker room. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying he wouldn't have just brought a gun to the locker room out of nowhere, despite being Gilbert Arenas.
There was a few guns, but whatever.
But you know what I'm saying? Like he did their, like if Javaris didn't like be like, you know, I got that shit in the car, and he's like, I bet, like it became dick swinging. Like I'm gonna go to the crib and get the whole case that I got in my room or whatever.
I'm gonna get the TI pack.
I'm getting that whole shit. So I'm gonna be GTA in this locker room. But
man, folks, yeah, we're veering off a little bit. That's how you know we're coming to the end of this.
Well, it's a good end, and I want it to be a good end for Melo, and not have him be like John Starks, who, despite 2 for 18, is still beloved. You know, works with the Knicks, does the outreach and shit, I believe.
No, he does all types of
all the events, all the stuff. So shout out to John Starks.
But it was still 2 for 18.
I mean, if I ever meet the man, even I don't think I could. I can't.
No, I wouldn't, because again,
he's gonna shake the man hand and be like, "Nice to meet you," and
the pain is on his face,
and hope he didn't like listen to this episode. You know,
nah, because look. I remember because when JB Smooth had what was that, 3 courses showing MSG, and they had John Starks on there. You know what I'm saying? They talked about him yamming it on Scottie Pipp and all these niggas in the playoffs, but nobody bought the 2 for 18.
They were respectful. Man.
I think he did, but
Yeah, no, they knew.
No.
They knew better.
The pain is there.
They didn't want to shit on your man. So, advocate for your boy, Melo fans. He can do it.
There should be a protest,
especially
a
Melo rally, free Melo. That means basically a free Melo. Like, just throw the mid-level at son. Like, just get him on a roster. Man.
Free Melo.
Free Melo, son. Just not on Orlando or some team like that where it would go to waste. I'm talking about a squad.
I'm saying these niggas in Portland are soaking all types of shit, but nobody hollering that much.
That might not be a bad fit. Now that you bring them up, man.
I'm not bringing them up, but man, they're not talking.
So. It's something, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about again. That's a team that needs points. They don't have a small forward. It'd be not a bitch. It's better than nothing.
They don't have.
It's way better than what they have now. Not to shit on you, Portland Trailblazer bench, but Braille Blazer bench.
It can't always be Dame or CJ Tom.
Nah, it has to be the rest of y'all behind them. That's what Meyer Leonard's, and
he's not on the team.
Yeah, sadly. But that's what they showed. Zach Collins. They tried to show up in that last series there. That's what they needed. It was just,
man Hussein.
It was just too late.
Hussein. Whiteside.
Yeah.
You scoop that nigga.
They skipped Hassan, but he's not the answer either. He's nice though. He's good for them.
Yeah. Listen, we had to talk about the money, folks, because
it's really sad. And again, I will say it again. I'm the most critical of this dude. I still hope the best for him. I think he is definitely a way better player than many players in the league. I still remember, what was that, 2 years ago when he was ranked like 60-something or whatever it was, like mad long list, and he got tight, and Stephen A was losing his mind over it. Like that's how I feel kind of right now. Like, and again, I definitely bombed on the man. Like, Chuck was not a fan of mine when I would bomb on Melo, but it was from the heart. Like I just wanted the man, again, who was that good. That's how I feel about Chris Bosh. That's how I felt about players until they met up with their contenders and got busy. Lamar Odom, etc. Like he's that. Even though he's a little older, he's that right now. He really is kind of a nice piece to really arm a team up. Even the Jazz, give your boy a call. You had Joe Johnson, for God's sake. You can get him. And now you're better. You got Mike Conley.
Don't know if he wants to go there, but fuck it.
Take it. Who else is calling him?
Take racist ass Salt Lake.
Melo, you better not be turning down no calls, bro.
No, he's not. He's not.
I'm dead ass.
He's not. He's really not.
Yo,
Anyway.
for the Grizzlies if you have to, my guy.
Holla at Hoodie Melo. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
all I'm saying. So I guess that's it for us. We circle talking there. You know, press F to pay your respects in the chat / comments.
Stand by for the free Melo shirts.
Stand by for the free Melo shirts, I guess, and the actual Twitter that you can come yell at us at.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We like to barbecue, so we love to smoke.
Yeah, so
Mad sauce, mad gin also.
We'll see you more in the internet soon, but until then, it's me and the Lightskin Bandit. You know, AKA
Be still.
And that's it.
Not for right now.
For now, anyway.